Before we speak of control, before we speak of discipline, let us pause and ask something deeper. Why does modern life feel so draining? You sleep, yet feel tired. You consume, yet feel empty. You achieve, yet feel restless. It is not because life demands too much. It is because your energy is constantly leaking. Today, at Eternal Shiva Wisdom, we begin with a subject that our ancestors considered the very foundation of human evolution: Brahmacharya. Most people reduce it to the body. Some reduce it to morality. Some reduce it to suppression. But very few ever ask a deeper question. What is the source of Brahmacharya? What power does it actually protect? To understand this, we must return not to opinion, not to social rules, but to the oldest spiritual science known to humanity, the Atharva Veda. There is a powerful hymn dedicated entirely to the glory and cosmic nature of Brahmacharya. It appears in Atharva Veda, Book 11, Hymn 5. This hymn does not speak symbolically, it speaks cosmically. Let us look at the first verse. Atharva Veda, Book 11, Hymn 5, verse 1. Brahmachari charti Rodasi ubhe tasmin deva sammanso bhavanti. This is not poetry. This is a declaration of spiritual physics. The Rishi is saying something extraordinary. The one who walks in Brahmacharya moves between both earth and sky. Rodasi here refers to the dual expanse, the material and the subtle. Such a person does not live as an isolated individual. His inner state becomes cosmic, and then comes the most overlooked line. All the devas become aligned with him. This does not mean mythological beings helping you. It means this: when your energy is conserved, your nervous system becomes coherent, your breath becomes rhythmic, your mind becomes steady, and when that happens, life itself begins to cooperate with you. You feel supported, not emotionally, but existentially. This is why Brahmacharya was never about repression. It was about integration. When energy is scattered, the mind fragments. When energy is conserved, the mind gathers. And when the mind gathers, clarity becomes possible. This is not belief. This is observable truth. That is why another ancient authority confirms this. In the Prashna Upanishad, the Rishi makes a very direct statement. Without Brahmacharya, without tapasya, the knowledge of the self does not mature, not because knowledge is denied, but because the instrument is unstable. A restless mind cannot reflect truth, just as a disturbed lake cannot reflect the moon. This is why, at Eternal Shiva Wisdom, we treat scriptures not as philosophy, but as maps of inner mechanics. Now understand the word itself. Brahmacharya. Charya means conduct. Brahm means infinite consciousness. Brahmacharya means allowing your conduct to move in alignment with the infinite. It does not begin in the body, it begins in attention. When attention constantly leaks outward, desire multiplies. When attention stabilizes inward, energy reorganizes. Slowly, very slowly, the trivial loses its grip. And the mind begins to rest not in objects, but in awareness itself. This is why Brahmacharya was considered the gateway discipline, not an end, a preparation. Without it, Advat remains intellectual. With it, clarity becomes experiential. We are not forcing silence. We are removing disturbance. And when disturbance drops, silence reveals itself naturally. Pause here. Do not analyze. Do not agree or disagree. Just notice how much of your exhaustion comes not from effort, but from unnecessary inner movement. This understanding will deepen further. After the Vedic vision, we now turn inward, from philosophy to inner mechanism, from belief to direct observation. What the Vedas revealed in principle, Yoga and Tantra explained as a science of energy. At Eternal Shiva Wisdom, we now enter that subtle science. The yogic texts say something very clear. Brahmacharya is not repression. It is redirection. It is not denial of life. It is refinement of life force. One of the clearest explanations comes from the ancient yogic text Shiva Samhita. This text is presented as a dialogue between Shiva and Parvati, where the focus is not ritual, but inner mastery. In chapter 4, Shiva states a profound principle: Maranam bindupaten jivanam bindu dharanat. Shiva Samhita, chapter 4, verses 60 and 61. The meaning is subtle, yet precise. The falling of Bindu leads toward dissipation. The holding and refinement of Bindu leads toward life, vitality, and stability. Here, there is no threat, no fear, only a statement of energy conservation. Bindu refers to condensed vital essence. When this energy flows outward through compulsion and restlessness, the system weakens. But when the same energy is preserved, it does not remain static. It transforms. In yogic understanding, Bindu refines into Ojas. Ojas stabilizes as Virya. Ojas is clarity. Virya is inner strength. This strength is not aggression. It is steadiness. This is why Brahmacharya was never meant to create dryness or suppression. It was meant to create luminosity. This same truth is confirmed by Maharishi Patanjali in the Yoga Sutra. He states, Brahmacharya pratisthaya virya labha. Yoga Sutra, Chapter 2, Sutra 38. The meaning is simple. When one becomes firmly established in Brahmacharya, inner strength naturally arises, not just physical strength, mental stamina, emotional stability, the power to remain present without inner noise. This is why such a person appears calm, focused, and unshaken. Modern science is now beginning to notice something similar. When impulsive energy is conserved, the mind gains clarity, attention stabilizes, decision-making improves, restlessness reduces. Yoga described this long ago as urdhvaretis, the upward movement of energy, from instinct toward awareness, from reaction toward intelligence. This is why Shiva is shown as urdhvaretis, not as symbolism of denial, but as mastery. All energy resting in awareness, all power centered in clarity. When Brahmacharya is practiced correctly, one begins to taste a fragment of this inner order. And this brings us to an important question. If Brahmacharya refines energy and stabilizes the mind, how does this help a modern person live fully in the world without escaping it? That answer unfolds next. Brahmacharya was never meant only for men. In the ancient Indian tradition, even the feminine power is addressed as Brahmacharini. The second form of Navdurga is Mata Brahmacharini. Here, Brahmacharya does not mean restraint. It means immense inner strength. According to Devi Mahatmya and Brahmanda Purana, this name points to a power built through tapasya, focused awareness, and unwavering resolve. When Mata Parvati undertook her path toward Mahadev, she entered a long period of tapasya. She slowly withdrew from external dependence. First nourishment, then comfort, then even dry leaves. Because of this, she was called Aparna. This was not punishment, this was refinement. For a woman, Brahmacharya does not mean suppression. It means concentrating creative energy so deeply that it becomes a force capable of uniting nature and consciousness. This is willpower at its highest expression. But today, this same inner energy faces its greatest challenge, not from society, not from responsibility, but from the device we carry quietly in our pocket. The modern world runs on instant gratification, endless scrolling, constant stimulation, continuous sensory pull. Modern psychology observes that such patterns create repeated dopamine spikes. But Indian wisdom spoke of this long ago. When attention fragments, inner strength dissolves. This is the loss of mental ojas. In the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna points to this force. He says, Kam eshaha krodh eshaha rajogun samudbhavaha. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verse 37. Desire born of Rajogun does not announce itself loudly. It hides, it distracts, it pulls the mind outward. Today, This desire does not live only in forests or fantasies. It lives inside screens, inside constant stimulation, inside restless attention. This is where digital Brahmacharya begins. It does not mean rejecting technology. It means protecting awareness. It means choosing where your attention rests. Anything that repeatedly steals your attention without deepening you is quietly draining your Brahmacharya. A true practitioner is not one who escapes the world, but one who remains the master of consciousness while living fully within it. And this leads us to a deeper question. If Brahmacharya refines energy, stabilizes the mind, and protects awareness, what does it finally prepare us for? That understanding comes next. We have understood the knowledge. Now the question becomes quiet and practical. How is this lived? Brahmacharya is not merely a vow. It is a way of arranging life so that awareness is not constantly leaking outward. In Vedanta, discipline is never punishment. It is alignment with your own nature. The first foundation of this alignment is diet. The Chandogya Upanishad explains this clearly. Ahar shuddho sattva shuddhi, sattva shuddho dhruva smriti. Chandogya Upanishad, chapter 7, section 26, verse 2. The meaning is simple and experiential. When food is pure, the mind becomes clear. When the mind becomes clear, memory, discernment, and restraint arise naturally. This is why Brahmacharya was always supported by mitahar, moderate sattvic eating, not to suppress the senses, but to calm them. The second support is pranayam. Breath and mind are not separate movements. When breath is restless, the mind wanders. When breath becomes steady, energy stops scattering. Yogic texts say simply, as long as the breath is unstable, the mind cannot rest. Through gentle regulation of breath, Virya is conserved without effort. Nothing is forced. Nothing is blocked. Energy simply stops leaking. The third and most subtle support is satsang and swadhyay. What you listen to daily, what you contemplate repeatedly, slowly becomes the shape of your inner world. Scriptural study is not information gathering, it is subconscious purification. In good company, the mind remembers its higher direction. But Advaita Vedanta now asks a deeper question. Why protect energy at all? Because refined energy becomes clarity, and clarity reveals truth. In Advaita, Brahmacharya is not practiced to become powerful. It is practiced so that identification weakens. When the mind is no longer agitated, you begin to notice something profound. You are not the urge. You are not the restlessness. You are not even the discipline. You are the awareness in which all of this appears. This is why Brahmacharya is ultimately forgotten at the highest realization. Not because it failed, but because its work is complete. When the self is recognized, there is no leakage. Awareness rests in itself. This is the silent meaning of Shiva. Urdhvaritas is not control. It is fullness, nothing seeking completion elsewhere. At eternal Shiva wisdom, this is the understanding we return to again and again. Not renunciation of life, but freedom within life. Not suppression of desire, but transcendence of identity. Remain attentive, remain gentle, remain inwardly still. The discipline will dissolve into wisdom, and wisdom will dissolve into silence.